Yeah, Agustin, could you?
Sorry, Moni.
Well, hello,
Oh,
everybody. Welcome to Latinos in Clinical Research webinar. Today we're gonna improvise, and we're happy to be here today, and actually very happy to have many guests today that have such an interesting backgrounds, and they are going to be sharing with us their stories, and obviously we're gonna have a very nice chat as usual. Agustin, I give you the mic.
Well, hello, everyone. This was not planned
Yeah.
to be an assistant only. I am a clinical researcher. My group work in San Pedro Sula in the northern coast of Honduras, in the Caribbean coast. We started doing clinical research about 23 years ago, and mainly in pharma studies. I am a pediatric pulmonologist, and my co-partner in clinical site is a pediatric immunologist. So we started doing respiratory and allergy studies, but year after year, the pharmaceutical companies invited us to get involved in studies that went out of our expertise field. And that was very interesting because we started doing in-hospital studies. And after that, about 12 years ago, we started with immunization studies, vaccine studies. And since that moment, we are a specialized site doing immunization clinical trials. And in the last recent years, in early stages studies, so you may name it phase 1 and phase 2 studies. And in the first 10 or 11 years, we only did phase 3 studies. And confidence is very important for us because pharmaceutical companies and regulatory agencies and CROs and ethical committees are turning their eyes to us in Honduras, mainly because of the 3-year regulatory environment. We are very competitive now in Honduras, and probably since we are contacted from a pharmaceutical company until it begins the study, it will take about 3 months. So that times are very competitive. We're probably after United States and Puerto Rico, and one of the first Latin American countries in regulatory aspects and times, and that is crucial for us. And after 2 years of having that kind of regulatory environment, and with clear rules for the pharmaceutical companies, and Honduras is I don't know how to say it. Es una meta, es un
Is the goal, or is what
it's
you guys
very,
are pursuing?
yeah, exactly. It's very
For you,
desirable. So now there are only four sites in Honduras, two in the capital city and one in San Pedro Sula. We're a very small country, but 2 hours away from Miami, and that is quite important also for the central labs. So pharmaceutical companies are making a wall with Honduras, and yeah, we're growing. So we're very happy. And years ago, we used to have 1 study per year. Now we are involved in 6 studies. Recently was in 8. We were in 8. So we're very happy to say that. Yeah.
That's very amazing. That's very amazing. when you mention about the regulatory, is this like that Honduras is now adhering to the GCPs?
Yes, GCPs are a gold standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we used to have it in face to face before the pandemic, but after that, remote. So we have almost 4 links where we can get it for free, and that is valid for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Agustin. And you mentioning that really just kind of reminds everybody and highlights the importance of involvement of all Latin American countries, because, you know, obviously diversity is a huge major issue. It's a very, very important. And to know that, you know, it's great that your country is definitely growing in on research end, but we really need more expansion on that, right? To make sure we have more individuals participating. So thank you so much. And we also appreciate you kind of jumping on last minute. Sorry to put the spotlight on you, but you know, it's really awesome to get somebody here that is from another area that, you know, is really making some strides with their companies and helping bring that diversity to the industry. So you guys, for those of you that are joining, just a little, you know, heads up. And for those of you that will be watching later, we did initially have a CEO, Marco Ed from Drox Health Science. Unfortunately, he dropped off for the minute because we weren't able to get in contact with him. I think some last minute things that happened, you know, being a CEO and everything. So we'll definitely be rescheduling him later because we really want to make sure that you guys get to know Drox Health Science and all the amazing things that they're doing, having conferences in South America and really kind of helping bring awareness to research in Mexico. So I guess here would be an opportunity, right, that we actually have it open to speak openly to our members that are attending here today. We actually did have one member here that Mercedes Lopez that said that, you know, you'd be happy to talk about your support in LatAm. I don't know if you'd like to kind of come on the mic and speak for a quick minute about what you guys are doing.
Sure, of course. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's so awesome to be able to share a little bit about our support, as well as to network with all of you and the Latinos in clinical research. Just a little bit about myself and my background in clinical research. I started clinical research in pediatric oncology. From there, I moved to participate and be part of the Latin America initiative with SWOG, which is another oncology group, one of our 5 biggest oncology groups in the US, but also they had, and they still have, which I think if you guys want to reach out to them, I'm sure they would be happy to be part of this group as well. They have a wonderful Latin America initiative. But I am now with WCG Clinical, and we are also in Latin America and provide support to a good amount of sites in Latin America. So what we do is that we accelerate support for any of the clinical trials. We are in close communication with the sites and sponsors, of course. So we're in close communication with the sites and provide just support that might be helpful for them in terms of anything that has to do with recruitment or retention of patients. So we have CRC managers or site managers that work from remote. All of our team are Latinos. We have some in Colombia and Ecuador, but we're all from different places of Latin America, the Dominican Republic, Brazil, Mexico, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and most of us have that biculturalism of living in the States, but also being very familiar with a lot of the clinical research environment in the countries that we serve. And that is a gold, as a lot of people share with us. The fact that we are familiar with the institutional processes in the US, as well as the institutional processes and regulatory processes both in the US and in Latin America, is extremely helpful for us to help some of those sites and to guide them in some of the things that CROs or sponsors might be needing of them. So that helps us. We're very lucky to have that. I think the team is very knowledgeable in different areas of research, and that also becomes such a tool for the different sites that we work with, in terms of being able to assist the sites in kind of like thinking outside the box when it comes to either recruitment or retention of patients.
Wow, I mean, we are so incredibly lucky that you were here and Agustin was here, because this turns actually this webinar in a very interesting direction, right? Especially because the idea of doing today the interview with the CEO of this organization that is located both in United States and Mexico is actually lucky that both of you have also the same approach, because Agustin is located in Honduras and basically working with pharmaceutical companies in United States, and in the case of Latam is basically the same situation, right? So I have a quick question. All the people that are involved, the ones that are doing this remotely, everybody lives in United States. That's what you were mentioning.
Yes. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then the sites that you serve are located in other countries, or is
That is
everything in one?
correct. Yes.
Oh, very
Mhm.
interesting.
Is
Very
bilingual,
interesting.
is being Spanish speaker mandatory, I would imagine, right? For this
Yes,
role?
for sure. So we have 3 people, including myself. We are trilingual, and everyone else is bilingual. Yes.
That's
Nice.
so nice. Actually, I
Mhm.
wanted to ask the same to Agustin. You guys need to speak English to do research, because we interviewed somebody in the past that was saying that all the materials and everything that they received were in English, or all the training, and then obviously the ADC, but then everything else is in Spanish. Is that the same case for you, Agustin?
Well, let me tell you, we have a strong team right now in Honduras, and our young doctors working with us, about 25, are almost all of them are bilingual. So everything is changing in Honduras, and the bilingual culture is well established. So this is a good opportunity for us to hire them and to get them involved in clinical research very early in their professional lives. Yes.
That's so awesome. I can't wait to share this video with all my students, or all the CRC Academy students that are located in Latin America. We have many doctors from Latin America that join every class, and it's amazing to see how it is growing in Latin America, and how much support and how important it is that besides speaking the Spanish, they speak also English. So I have to connect you guys with this team of students, because obviously they bring that background of medical background that is needed, and in addition to that, they now know how everything works in United States. So I'm assuming it will be a great addition for any of your organizations.
It would be a very amazing addition for us. We are constantly looking for clinical research professionals. We do see that in Latin America, most of the time they're either MDs or anyone else that is in the healthcare area. So it is very helpful for us to continue to grow that network, and we would be so grateful if we can continue to grow that network. Those opportunities come our way almost daily. and we're always looking for people in the different countries that we serve. So at this moment, we are in Brazil and Mexico, which are our biggest countries. Of course, Argentina, that continues to grow. But we're also in Colombia, in Chile, Guatemala, and Peru. And we're still growing. We know that Costa Rica and Panama are coming our way soon.
Oh, that's nice. Well, maybe Honduras is coming your way too.
That would be
Now with
great.
this, yeah, with this
Yeah, sure.
networking, yeah,
Would be our honor.
yeah.
Likely, thank you.
That's so nice.
Really
I encourage everybody that is here today to share your LinkedIn in the chat so we can later on also include it in the, I mean, for anybody here that wants to connect. And then if you guys agree, we can also share it under the video so everybody can reach out to you guys. I mean, with questions or maybe somebody interested in the business that you guys are carrying out.
We got a question from Alma. Well, it's a comment. Maybe we can help her. Maybe Mercedes is like maybe this is like written in the stars. Okay, but Alma says imposter, no technical experience, looking for a way to break in. Bilingual biology major, 23 years clinical experience, networking. First thing comes through my mind is, hey, WCG hiring, bilingual.
Mhm.
So we're always looking for clinical professionals.
See, always looking, Alma.
Yes,
Into the
yes.
right
So,
place.
so please
My-
do add me on LinkedIn. And if you want to go ahead and send in your CV, I can always distribute. Are you in the US, Alma?
I am. I am in the US, and
Mhm.
I've been in the medical field for 23 years, but I just cannot seem to crack into this field. I'm really wanting to transition, and I have a biology degree, bilingual, and so I've taken a couple of courses, but I just, like I said, I just cannot seem to I've applied, but I've had some callbacks, but I know I'm missing the experience. That's just obvious in clinical research. So
Where are you
that's
located, Alma?
I'm in California, Lakewood, California.
Oh,
Lakewood,
okay.
LA. What's your background, clinical background? Like, what is it?
I'm an occupational therapy assistant, so I've worked in hospitals. Right now, I'm currently in a skilled nursing facility. I've worked gamut, geriatrics,
You've done SNF.
orthopedics.
You've done SNF
Yeah.
work, geriatric. You can do Alzheimer's recruitment. You can be a coordinator. This is a shoe-in for a coordinator. Only if we knew a site in LA that would hire. I mean, I know I see a lady on this screen wearing a pink shirt.
Yeah, well, I mean, she would have been a great addition. Last week we were desperate looking for somebody.
But having
Just
that,
hire somebody, but add me, send me your CV too, and see what we can
Okay.
do. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I feel like an imposter because I don't have any clinical research. I want to,
no,
but
but
I
you know
don't.
what
So,
you have like that SNF geriatric. There's so many Alzheimer's studies right now, and you're in
yes.
LA. I mean, you're between LA and Orange County. You're surrounded by clinics. There's research clinics everywhere
Yeah, and I
around.
know, but I just can't seem to get through the door. And like I said, I know I'm missing the typical GCP knowledge, which I've taken some courses on. But again, I may not be
GCP is easy. I'll find you the link right now. You can get a certificate right now.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hold on, let me find the
okay.
link.
And
You gotta
everybody
go
can use
with
that
this
link
certificate.
actually.
You go with this certificate with IATA, with GCP. Let me
Mhm.
put these links here. I'm putting 3 links, but just all
Okay.
you one. Uh,
Awesome.
whichever one works best. And so you need to approach these clinics like, hey, I'm GCP certified. So you
Okay.
don't go in there with like, I'm an imposter. You don't say that. You say I'm like GCP certified clinical professional. GCP
I just
certified.
I'm
I
just
could
being
do.
honest with you guys.
No, I know, but like they're gonna take you. I'm telling you. especially if you got that Jerry psych and the sniff background, like, you know how many Alzheimer's with that, with agitation studies, you're familiar with these settings, the skilled nursing facilities.
Right.
You gotta get in where you fit in and figure out like what you do have. And a lot of the skill set you do have, probably the site doesn't. Like at my site, we don't do Alzheimer's studies, at least not yet, but none of my staff know how to walk into a sniff and interact with the people. I barely know how to do that. You do it
Right.
every day, so
Every day.
you
I
would
know
be
just that, but you speak Spanish.
Yes.
So
Claro
that's
que
a
sí.
huge, that's a
Claro que
huge
sí.
plus too. That you know
Yeah.
how many sites have been looking for somebody that speaks English and Spanish and have healthcare background that they will be willing to train? Many, many. I actually don't doubt that after we post this video, people are going to be reaching out to you, to Mercedes, and to uh, Agustin, because usually that's what happens, right? It's just that you are at the right time, the right date.
Yay. I'm
Yeah,
hoping so.
And
yeah.
mine, another recommendation would be also for you to get involved with the people from ATA, the American Translators Association, because they do have a lot of work that they do in terms of translation of not only protocols for Latin America, but also for validation of tools in Canada and in the US, as well as translation of informed consent. So,
Awesome. Okay.
mhm.
I will look that up right now. Thank you so much, everybody, for your help.
Yeah,
Of
no
course.
problem.
And thank you for
I
coming on here.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you. So I would like to ask Agustin a little bit more about your site. So your site specializes in vaccines, and this is for adults and pediatrics.
Yes. We do clinical trials in vaccines from the age of 2 months and plus
Wow.
then 60 years. Yeah, almost the whole ages. Yes.
Wow,
Currently,
that's so interesting.
currently we are involved in pediatric and adults vaccine studies. Yes.
Okay, and if I mean, obviously, if you can share, what's the most popular right now? I mean, that doesn't sound like the right question, right? But what's the most common vaccines that are right now in research?
That's a good question. COVID vaccines and RSV vaccines are the most common right now, and the combination in with COVID and influenza vaccines.
And
That's the
seeing
Okay, so that's the
that's the
next
trend
trend.
right now. Yeah, RSV and the combination of COVID and influenza vaccines.
which I
And how about,
suspect, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Ashley.
No, I was just gonna say, which I suspect COVID will probably start to go up again now that we're seeing a new wave come in.
Yeah, that's right. And how about the technology that these vaccines are using is similar to the first COVID vaccine or is different? I get he got dropped probably.
Oh, yes.
Agustin been silenced. He said too much. He's
No, no, I think he got dropped the internet.
Yeah, probably. And I mean, that's a good point about new COVID studies, because I haven't really thought about that. But the mRNA, I know there's been a lot of back and forth on the vaccine, and there's a lot you can say about it. But the truth of the matter is, it's a new technology that is just being developed. So, I've said it when the pandemic started, like this mRNA platform is one of the next big things that people are going to be researching. So that CRISPR, I'm really excited about CRISPR technology, gene therapy, rare disease, derm has been really hot, psych, pain, osteoarthritis, the aging baby boomers, you're seeing a lot of OA, osteoarthritis. So there's a lot of hot spots within research. I think at the site level, it's safest from recession fueled layoffs.
Which I
And
know, I think a lot of people have been seeing that, right, Don?
I've been seeing it on LinkedIn, but if I didn't know, if I was not on LinkedIn and just working at my site, I would think we're in a boom industry. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
likewise.
see anything like that
Mhm.
here. Our CRAs are not worried about getting their jobs cut either. So the people I'm interacting with outside of the internet, you would just think it's a boom season, you know, but what you are hearing layoffs, like sponsors are laying people off, CROs are laying off, not at the CRA level though, from what I've heard, but like project managers and maybe data manager. There's a lot of outsourcing too that's happening at the same time.
Yeah, a lot of change.
Yeah,
I
but a lot
think,
of hotspots.
and I think it's also
I
really important to mention, I think Monica, you mentioned this last time we had Daniel Perez come on the other day from World Clinical Trials or World Health Clinical Trials. He had mentioned that how moving forward, and if you guys have not seen that podcast, please go and see it. That live webinar, it was amazing. He did discuss how the trickle effect from sponsor level up down to site level, it's a trickle effect, but ultimately all the documentation, all the formation of these protocols and or the processes of, being able to keep up with the requirement for diversity with the whole FDA change, it's going to be there's going to be a huge shift, which I already think there's already a good amount of organizations out there that are looking for Latinos and all ethnicities in general. To be quite honest, we're looking for some diversity, minorities. But I really feel that in these next year to 2 years, you're going to start seeing a really huge influx. There's going to be a lot more I think marketing and or advertising for especially in the Latino community, because I think it's really more prominently being showcased that we are not only needing a lot of coordinators and or CRAs, but even more so specifically on the bilingual end, right? It's becoming a bigger and bigger issue. You guys might not see it too often, but we have these behind the door meetings, and we hear this all the time. And just recently we started seeing a huge influx of individuals and organizations really trying to focus on this now. So for those of you that are looking for work and for jobs and all of that, and you're bilingual, just know that it's getting there. It's just the industry just takes a while.
Yeah, I totally agree. In this level is also being hectic, very busy. Mm, and just as Dan was mentioning that there are many trends right now, obviously on the studies, I have seen a lot of psychedelics too.
There's a lot of
Many
growth happening.
psychedelic studies, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of time. I think there's a lot of expansion happening. I do think that that layoffs, like you were saying, Dan, more I think cutting down and prepping for, a potential like in the economic end of things, which we won't get into, but I think it's just them trying to, cushion a little bit should there be any like hits or anything like that. But because there's so much movement happening at the site level, CROs and sponsors really still need the CRAs, the CTCs, regulatory, all of that to keep these studies flowing really well. I just think it's more on the outer end that they're probably like trimming a little bit,
Yeah. The fringes or maybe the admin or even some of the higher level like project management. I'm hearing I never go on Reddit, but I'm hearing through other people that Reddit clinical research project management threads PMs are like freaking out because they're being outsourced overseas, and maybe that's opportunity for Latin America there, for the US and for like the data management and stuff. I mean that's already been outsourced. So PMs could be next. I'm just hearing anecdotally, but
Yeah, I've been hearing too that it's been going to I think India and Mexico, correct?
Mexico is getting a lot
Yeah.
of opportunities. Yep.
So a lot of changes are happening, and everybody needs to keep their eyes peeled, even those of you that are in the industry, to be aware of these changes that are happening, and just kind of not necessarily brace yourself, but kind of get behind it and see what you can do to not just amplify it, but just making sure that you safeguarded, what's going on, and who knows, maybe even to help you kind of maneuver your career to a even more promising area, right? There's just so many things to always consider in the industry, especially right now, because I do suspect
Follow
that.
the money.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the money. So the
Yeah.
private equity is all going to sites now, physical sites, not fancy DCT stuff, like real
Mhm.
sites.
And if you guys remember, Daniel Perez was also talking about the diversity part, how it's gonna be pushed. Like right now, we're not feeling it, but next year it's gonna be even more. So I think obviously the the um the minority is gonna have also a lot of opportunities in this part.
Mhm.
That's a good point. There's an entire business model to be made around increasing diversity, like actual diversity outcomes in local communities. So Alma was saying, she's looking for a job. I mean, you can actually, just the fact that you're bilingual and you have a career in nursing homes, you can make an immediate impact at a clinic in enrolling minority patients, specifically Hispanic, in Alzheimer's studies.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
the FDA has already said we're not approving drugs unless there's representation in the studies. So it's not like
that's gonna.
that big pharma wants to be nice. They're not
Mhm.
getting drugs approved.
So
Yeah.
naturally, a lot of minorities are going to be, I mean, having opportunities because of this issue. And if you think about it, maybe you're applying to the wrong role. Maybe you should be applying to start as a recruiter and then work your way in.
Mhm.
And I can almost guarantee you that the majority of sites will be interested on that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. It's just a matter of going to the right places, like in person. Here's my GCP certificate. I can bring you Alzheimer's patients. Find the ones that are doing Alzheimer's studies in your area.
And not just that. Oh, thank you, Mercedes. It was
Thank you,
lovely to
Mercedes.
have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have to bring you back. I'm
Yeah.
gonna reach out to
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I was like I was Alma. You can even create a business out of it. You don't even have to be working for anybody. You can offer your service of recruiting to all these sites and schedule like create a way of getting paid for these patients that you're recruiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many ways around it. And I do think that like we have SOS Save Our Sites conference coming up in February. These are a lot of, physicians and coordinators that are there. One of the biggest topics that are being hit is recruiting, right? Because everybody knows what's about to happen. These movements that are happening, and they're literally around the corner, that they're going to be exemplified a little bit more, if not substantially. So definitely something to consider. But Evelyn Bernal, you raised your hand. Feel free to come off the mic.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, thank you
Hi.
so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I was just waiting to jump in the right moment there. I'm from Drug Health Science. I know there was a little bit of a time difference in Guadalajara and LA, and I was asked by Jessica if I can join the meeting and talk to all of you about Drug Health Science a little bit. And also, I find it so interesting what you all are talking about right now, and also share a little bit of my experience working in the CRO in drugs health science. So my name is Evelyn. I'm an international business developer, and I have been with drugs for about, I would say, 7 to 8 months. I'm originally from Arizona, and I moved to Guadalajara with my husband. So I happened to meet Marco, and I've been in the medical field for years now, and not in the investigation part, but in the healthcare side. And when I met Marco, he had talked to me about, the site, the research, the difference that this is having an impact in people's life. And obviously, I was drawn by it because I love helping people. I think that's what kind of drove me to the medical field. So I've been with the company for about 8 months. Drug Health Science is headquartered in Miami, and we have 3 business sites in Mexico, and 1 representative in Europe, and we operate all over Latin America as well. So, I mean, I'm happy to be able to be in this organization in helping out others. I mean, I know Latinos are, getting their word out now in this industry. So, I mean, I really love to be working in a CRO and learning about the difference we can make in people's lives, especially in Mexico, I would like to say. With some of the projects that I've worked on, the recruitment of the patients has been quite easy, I would say, because unfortunately, in Latin America and in Mexico, our healthcare isn't as good, I would say, as in other countries. And a lot of people don't get the help that they need. So having projects in the community that can help out others, especially people with cancer or kids, I mean, that's just been great. I've had a great experience working in this CRO.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. We appreciate it. And thank
Thank
you. So, we do appreciate that you were able to come on. Definitely it can be some like tangled, with time frames and all of that. So we do appreciate you being able to come on and kind of say hi. We would very much love to give you guys, we do kind of do a cutoff in a few minutes, but we really do want to be able to give you guys a platform to speak because there's only so many organizations out in Mexico and Latin America that are focusing on research right now, right? And so we really want to make sure that we can get, you and Marco, on, as well as any other individuals from your team to kind of give the story about how you came to research and all of that. So again, we do very much appreciate your attendance today. So thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, we would love to reschedule. I'll make sure to reach out to Marco and we can get the time right this next time and we can all get connected. I mean, I know he was very excited to talk to all of you about, Mexico and all of this diversity that's going on into the clinical trials. He was so excited about it. So, I mean, we would love to reschedule and have him come on here and talk to you all about a little bit more about it.
For sure, most definitely. I will be sending over an email to Jessica so we can get it scheduled potentially maybe for
Okay,
next month, if not the day
Evelyn, how'd
after.
you get? By the way, I missed your LinkedIn. Everyone, Evelyn's LinkedIn's right there. I missed your message because I went to look at for your LinkedIn. I missed it. So my bad. But saveoursites.com. Okay, we need to have you guys there. But how did you get started? Because I noticed you were at a surgery center in Phoenix. You were at an office manager. This is a career like the office manager of a clinic to become in research is something we haven't discussed. And usually that's like there's a lot of office managers out there looking for more. So maybe we just we wrap it up with like your story.
Of course. So I started working at Banner Health, pretty much, and I met a surgeon there that I was assisting other doctors, and he really liked my work, and he was like, "Hey, I would like for you to come, work for me in my office as my main manager there, and handling all of the insurance and surgeries and all the procedures that are going on." When I worked for him, we were one of those clinics that do trials, do the medication trials for patients. And so I had a lot of connections there with companies that were, offering us to offer it to our patients. And that's how I kind of started to get into it a little bit. After that, when I got married with my husband, I moved to Guadalajara. I have a 3-year-old, and we decided to move over here. And I met Marco through a friend. And he told me how he had a CRO and it was about investigation and everything else. So I told him, I was like, well, that's so funny because I worked in an office where we used to get this medication and give it to our patients. And we would encourage everyone, to try them because it would be so helpful for their treatments. And he was like, well, I'd love to talk to you more about what we do. And, if you'd like to join. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it was really what I was doing in the US. So that's when I started working as a business developer, international business developer with Marco. And I have been learning so much. I've been traveling to some of the events like Bio.
So you
And
gotta come Save Our Sites. You have to come Save Our
yeah.
Sites.
And I was at Boston and Bio, meeting with people and just kind of getting into it and learning more about it. But I think what really just got me into joining this field, I would say, would be helping others. I mean, it was just amazing how every day at drugs we have people go in there and say, hey, if you have a medication for cancer, I want to try it. I'm here. I have people message me all the time too. Hey, you work at a CRO, do you have any medication for lupus or any other, you know, I mean, disease? So I think that's what's really keeping me here. I think it's such a wonderful way to help others.
Yeah, that's something that we need to look into. The office manager to see our research route. There's a lot of like MAs become billers, become office manager. If you stay long enough at these roles, you end up being an office manager. But then a lot of people think, well, that's the end. And for you, it was just the beginning of the
Correct.
it seems. We have to have you at saveoursites.com. If you're a business development person, you've got to go develop your business where Latinos in Clinical Research owns 1/3 of Save Our Sites conference. So we got to get you there.
I will. I would love to go there. And then I believe it's going to be in Arizona. Is that right? It's going to be my hometown.
Tucson, yeah.
My alma mater, Tucson. That's the first one. Yeah, next one I think is Oklahoma. But
Great.
yeah,
I
let's
mean,
do
I gotta go. That way I can have an excuse to go visit my family. So,
There you
hey,
go.
I'm gonna have to be there. I will be there for sure.
For sure.
Well, the
Awesome.
best way to do things and work well is to mix work with play.
Mhm.
Effortless work is the way to make it happen.
Agree
agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Obviously networking, right?
Mhm.
Just like we did today. Here we were just networking and getting
Everybody come
everybody
on.
know everybody. So
For sure. Well, thank you again so much, Evelyn. And I actually just saw, apologies, I was speaking, so I didn't see your message on LinkedIn.
No
I'm
worries.
gonna go ahead and we'll schedule with each other and see if when's the next available time. Because again, like I said, I'd really love for you guys to come on and speak more in depth about Drugs Health and the changes you guys are making. So again, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. And we look forward to having both you and Marcos and maybe Jessica as well come in on and speak. So thank you. Thank you so
course.
much.
Well, thank you so much. You all have a great day, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you and getting to know you a little bit better. But we'll see you in Arizona for sure.
For sure. Thank you
yeah,
so
thank you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much to you.
you.
Thank you so much to Agustin and Mercedes. She left, but she's gonna see the video later on.
Mm.
Thank you so much for sharing your stories and obviously we will be more than happy to do a full webinar with you and the CEO of your company and also with Agustin and Mercedes.
And do a full one.
Yeah,
Oh, and
yeah.
yes,
And
for
We would
sure.
like to know more.
Alma, you worked at a site real quick, Alma, and this is for Alma and for Evelyn. Okay, so I got your CV. It's really good. You have bachelor's degree, all kinds of stuff. You need to approach sites with like figure out 10 sites in your area that do Alzheimer, make flyers for their studies. You can find it on their website. Like
Okay.
Evelyn used to work like Evelyn, if Alma approached your clinic with flyers for studies you already had and said, hey, I want to work in recruitment, you would consider her like seriously, no?
Of course,
See?
especially with your background. I mean, Alma, I mean, I think you have a great background, and I think you would be a very good person. I mean, I really always like to look at people who just like you, who really want to join this type of industry and who are willing to go all the way. And I think that's something that you have. And especially if you would approach me just like Dan said, definitely.
See, you don't need to get bored to hear it from me all the time.
Right. I just feel like I needed that GCP certificate because I feel like, everybody needs to know good clinical practice.
Easy. Just do
Yeah,
it.
and so
Yeah.
the link that you showed me, I'm definitely going to go and get that and then add it to the
Yeah.
resume. So
You
And
should
I've
get that
taken
before
yeah,
dinner.
courses on,
the Yara and the NIH too.
I
Oh, yeah.
did that
NIH
one,
is
and
not,
then
yeah. Mhm.
but I have one for USC. I don't know if you guys are familiar with USC. They have free courses for auditing and monitoring of clinical trials, and I've taken that one as well. And I took one for Vanderbilt for data management because I just feel like, knowing REDCap and those kind of, data management.
And this was on where, Alma?
And then, and then,
Coursera.
yeah.
Coursera
cool.
is the Vanderbilt, the
Mhm.
data management one. But USC, if you go on their website, they offer free clinical certificates, and it's in auditing a clinical trial as well as monitoring a clinical trial. And I've taken that as well, and I got the certificates.
Yeah,
for
you're just
those.
missing the practical. Like, approach somebody like Evelyn. I'm telling you, 10 people like that in LA, it's not hard to find. And you go tell them, hey, I made these flyers for your site. Use them if you want. But I want to work in research. You don't need to hire me right away. I'll be a recruiter. Just put me as like the shadow, give me experience. And then if you like me in 3 months, we can talk. You're going to get opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's the piece that's missing right there that you said, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, well, thank
Thank
you
you,
so
guys.
much, you guys.
Appreciate it.
Alma,
Thank
I
you
will
so
be
much.
looking
Thank you.
for your LinkedIn, Alma, so that we can connect, see if maybe there's a way
I
I
put
can
it
help
in
you as
there.
well. Okay, great. I'm gonna go
Actually,
ahead.
actually, I think I've reached out to you. I think you are on my LinkedIn.
How long
but
ago did we speak?
I don't know. I think
Quite some
maybe like
time.
4 months ago, maybe.
Okay. I was just
Are
like,
you seeing?
hopefully it's not recent because I don't think I can remember. But yeah, a few months ago. Well, let's see if we can figure out how we can get you connected with some individuals and go from there. But thank you so much for your story. And again,
No problem.
Evelyn, thank you for your story. And thank you everybody for being here and present today. Sorry for the mix up, but still we think it ended up pretty great being able to network and getting to know some of you guys. So we will be here again same time next month. Be on the lookout for our webinar posting. And yeah, you guys have a great week and we'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
You guys.
Bye.
In my pleasure.